Welcome back to the Roundtable, everyone. I'm Oscar Fox.
I'm Retro Nemo.
My name, as always, is Tom.
We are going to look back on the top 10 best episodes in all of animation in 2018.
These are the cream of the crop, the best of the best. We're going to be looking at Netflix, Cartoon Network,
Steven Universe, Criger.
From action to comedy, we're counting down from 10 all the way to number 1.
Now this goes without saying, but there will be a spoiler warning.
There will be spoilers for the various shows we talk about. Serialized series are in. Who knew?
So if you ain't caught up and you don't want to be spoiled, here's your warning.
Without further ado, let's get started on this list.
Coming in at number 10, Criger Creek Under the Overpass. Criger Creek is one of my favorite new Cartoon Network shows. However, it's been criticized for having a really slow start. I gotta admit that for a long time, there wasn't a whole lot there to set itself apart from other shows. It had a great foundation of likable characters, a charming tone and atmosphere, but it was missing that X factor to make it feel like something special. But in the episode Under the Overpass, that issue was confronted. This is one of the first episodes of Criger Creek that gives something more to make the show feel like it's unique. The introduction of the green poncho, the mystery around the overpass, the symbolism of the honeysuckle, and the fact that the concepts introduced came back in a later episode where they were built upon makes me hopeful that this is the turning point for the series as a whole and gives the show that extra depth that people have been wanting from the show since the beginning. This was an episode that performs a big leap for one of my favorite shows to come on the scene this year. So for that reason, I think it deserves a spot on this list.
It's not safe here. Please don't come back.
Number 9. SpongeBob SquarePants' My Leg. It's been a tough year for SpongeBob fans. Not too long ago, the world lost the creator of the show, Steven Hillenburg. So it's been hard to talk about the old Sponge without feeling some sort of emotion. Luckily, there's plenty to celebrate about Hillenburg's creation, including the episode that aired earlier this spring, My Leg. The most recent season of SpongeBob has truly been a return to form. While it's a different atmosphere from the earlier seasons, I still find it pretty enjoyable, and My Leg is no exception. When you hear they're making an entire episode revolving around the My Leg guy, at first you may be taken aback. Alright, isn't that just kind of driving the joke into the ground? What, is it just gonna be 11 minutes of him trying to break his leg? Well, kinda. You see here, Fred actually wants his leg broken, because every time it breaks, he gets sent to the hospital where he has one-on-one time with his crush. He's smitten with a nurse. Unfortunately, things don't go SpongeBob and Fred's way. Suddenly, the universe at whole is just against breaking Fred's leg, which leads to some absolutely humorous gags. Seriously, this entire episode just excels at facial expressions. The show has never looked this great before, and it definitely uses a mix of elements and mediums to its advantage. And Fred manages to get a happy ending, although everything but his leg ends up broken. The ending also gave me a strong Ren and Stimpy vibe. The design of the nurse, even though I kinda saw it coming. The way she moves and watches everyone with a sponge. Although Fred had a pretty tight musical number. It's definitely a new favorite of mine when it comes to SpongeBob. Is it up there with seasons 1 to 3? Debatable. But personally, I know I will watch this episode many, many times to come.
I always wanted to show a little leg.
Coming in at number 8, Hilda, The House in the Woods. Hilda was a new show that premiered on Netflix this year that looked promising, but nobody predicted just how well received it would actually end up being. What Hilda did better than any other show this year was build a world to tell stories in that makes you want to escape reality to. This episode seamlessly transitions from the episode before it. Some of the most outlandish and likable recurring characters the show has to offer are prominently featured, plus this is a homecoming episode for Hilda, going back to the forest for the first time since her and her mother moved from the country to the city of Trollberg in the first arc of the season. I think this episode is the best for this list because it embodies the most of everything that makes Hilda so great. The unique world, eerie supernatural horror, and it wraps up the ongoing question of where home is for Hilda. Overall, this episode shows off why Hilda is so great and ends on a heartwarming message about moving forward in life without leaving behind your roots.
The wilderness will always be a part of who you are. That's why we're such good friends.
We are?
Repeating myself makes me anxious.
At number 7, we have the Final Space Season 1 finale, Chapter 10. Now, Final Space is a very ambitious show. From the start, they tried to mix action and comedy and a complex storyline with characters you care about. They went full force with this one. They tried to fit in everything they could. They just tried to tell a really great story, and for the most part, they succeeded. Like, Final Space is really good. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. It definitely pulls you in. But the reason why I put number 10 on this list is because that is when everything the show is trying to accomplish really comes together. Every single episode starts with a little vignette of Gary in space after what looks like a destructive battle that he lost, and then the series is leading up to what that battle was and how it happened. So by episode 10, everything has come to a head, and we finally get an explanation for what's going on in these little intro bits. The episode is full of action, heart, comedy. It's really everything Final Space is trying to accomplish, and it's doing it super well. At this point, you're fully engrossed in the story. You want to know the lore. You care about the characters. You care about these characters. It's truly a wild ride and an incredible finale. It has an open ending, which makes you want season 2. It just does everything right. And it really set Final Space apart from a show that was pretty good to something that was truly special.
Can't you see? There is no one beside you. Everyone you've cared about is gone.
Coming in at number 6, Shira and the Princesses of Power, Princess Prom. We can't end 2018 without giving love to the most polarizing and talked about show of the year. Shira and the Princesses of Power had a ton of backlash online from the first look at the concept art, which ironically made it into the most anticipated show this year. Since the release, one episode has gotten a ton of love, and that episode is Princess Prom. Every great show has the ability to humanize characters and put them in mundane situations. They expand their characters based on how they handle those situations, which works perfectly for a show like Shira that has such a diversely written cast of likable characters that made people love this episode. But it's not just fan service either. The episode ties directly into the overarching plot and smoothly transitions into the next act of the season. This episode managed to give Shira something more than just being another good show. It set itself apart as something that people could emotionally invest in with characters that people genuinely care about. Plus, it inspired so much buzz on social media, eliminating any question as to whether or not this show was a hit with its target demographic. But more than anything, this is an episode that I can point to and feel like the people working on this show genuinely loved the world and the characters they created, which makes me want to watch more of the show and believe in its future.
Princess Prom! Princess Prom! We are going to Princess Prom! Okay, well, you've gone crazy. Got it. I'll just come back later.
Number 5. Voltron Legendary Defenders, the Black Paladins. As the title of this episode implies, we have great focus on Keith and Churro, or should I say Keith and clone Churro, as the cat's finally out of the bag. The idea of this Churro being a clone was a theory a long time in the making. Pretty much everyone figured it out, although they take that reveal and amplify it 50 times over. I don't know which aspect of this episode sticks out to me more. The voice acting is phenomenal, the music is top notch, the animation is the best it ever looks in this series and ever looks following. Nothing that's come before can touch it, and everything that comes after never lives up to it. It's definitely a huge payoff for both characters. While yeah, it isn't the Shira we know and love, it's still a Shira we were invested in for many seasons. A Shira who wanted to be a real paladin. A Shira who tried to have the same connections to the Black Lion and the rest of the team the real Shiro did. Yet that's ultimately all thrown away, as he can't break free of Hagar's control. And for Keith, this is the man who saved his life. Completely changed the course of it around. His mentor, his brother, and now he possibly has to kill him? And during this fight, there are no punches pulled. Churro goes all in. It's really hard not to get emotional and even tear up while watching. This could have been a season finale in its own right. Yeah, we have everything going on with Lotor, but honestly, they could have put that on the back burner to be dealt with next season. When it comes to pulling on the heartstrings while telling a compelling story, being unable to predict what's going to happen next, if Keith can truly save his friend, this episode certainly becomes a standout out of all of animation in 2018, and definitely deserves a spot high up on the list.
Churro, please. You're my brother. I love you.
Number 4. Steven Universe is reunited. Alright, you guys all knew this was coming. For any television show, it's hard to call back to so many plot points at once without making it feel contrived or just done for fan service, yet Reunited excels at this perfectly. Almost every single scene of this 23-minute episode is packed with Easter eggs, callbacks, and references to previous episodes. Not to mention it made animation history, with the first lesbian portraying wedding in a primetime animated series airing on a children's network. They truly brought their A-game for this episode. The opening musical number, the score in general is just breathtaking, and we have strong performances from every single character. And out of any episode in the series, it keeps you on your feet. The Cluster, a geoweapon comprised of the shards of thousands of gems that should have never been unbubbled from the Earth's core, is just that, unbubbled. Luckily for the gems, the Cluster is on their side. And while that battle rages on between the Cluster and Yellow Diamond's ship, which the diamonds being on Earth alone is already a huge deal, Blue Diamond decides to take on the Crystal Gems. As soon as you think a solution is provided with Rose's sword, Blue Diamond shatters it. A staple of the series gone like that. But then Garnet steps up, and then Lapis returns. All the Crystal Gems work in unison to bring Blue Diamond down. But then Yellow Diamond appears, doesn't hesitate to curb stomp Steven, and the only thing that saved the lives of the Crystal Gems, likely saving the entire fate of the planet, was Steven being able to use his mother's powers in a desperate situation to appease the diamonds and have them realize his aura is that of pink diamonds, leaving us on a hopeful yet still very intense cliffhanger. Again, other shows would be hard-pressed to pull a story arc like this off, coming off the heels of a plot twist that makes us recontextualize almost every single thing we know in the series, and using that plot twist to its advantage. It's straight to the point, action-packed, and very effective in its storytelling. It's truly an episode you can watch over and over and over again, and that's why Reunited is one of the best animated episodes of 2018.
This is our home, our planet, our friends and family. We are the Crystal Gems!
At number 3, we have the BoJack Horseman episode, Free Churro. BoJack Horseman, it just never stops being good. Every single season is just amazing, keeps topping itself, and something that it gets praised a lot for, including by me, is its risk to be experimental. They did an entire episode where no characters talked and they were underwater the whole time. BoJack's already kind of out there, but the fact that it's a Netflix show allows it to be really non-traditional and just kind of take these massive leaps in what they do, and for the most part, they pay off. Free Churros isn't an episode of animation, it's kind of like an art piece. The entire episode is BoJack's eulogy for his mother who had just died, and that's the episode. It's a 20-minute eulogy. They don't cut the flashbacks, they don't have any other characters talking besides BoJack. I've never seen anything like this done before, and they excelled at it. You'd think it would be boring, and I started the episode wondering, okay, wait, when's something else gonna happen? But I promise you, when I say that it pulled me in, and I barely even noticed by the time the episode was over that I had been watching for that long. It's trying something new, something that's never been done before, it's taking a huge narrative risk, and it does it so well, in the only way that BoJack really can.
But there was an understanding that we were all drowning together. And I would like to think that that's what she meant when we were in the hospital and she said, "I see you."
Number 2. Conquer from Star vs. the Forces of Evil. As far as season finales of cartoons go, this already takes the cake. And while it's the second half of a 2-part finale, it definitely holds more significance in its first half. Star is completely helpless and separated from everyone she knows and loves, as they're either missing like her mother, or their souls have fallen victim to Meteora Butterfly. This is where Star has to make a very crucial decision. To fight for a kingdom, fight for her people. Embrace that, unfortunately, she is queen now. And take on Meteora, who is justifiably angry. She was the rightful heir to the throne, and Star's ancestors denied her of that privilege, ruining her entire life. And I gotta say, the action sequence between Star and Meteora is absolutely beautiful. You feel every hit, every spell. The composition is the best of the entire series. Nothing compares. And for Eclipse Butterfly, who the Kingdom of Muni writes off as pure evil without even giving a chance to know her, gives up everything she wants and attempts to murder her own flesh and blood, Meteora, in order to stop her rampage, because at that point, there's no other option left. Now, since this is a season finale and they had to set up the next season, Meteora does survive, just reduced to an infant. But we get a major shakeup in the status quo as Star gives her wand to Eclipse, who shortly after reunites with her monster love Globgor. I know animated series, especially those on children's networks, are highly praised whenever they have dark moments and intense themes in their episodes when, really? That's the norm. But remove the fact that this is a kid's show and really see what this episode and its messages, its themes, for what it is. It's about facing your fears. It's about making sacrifices no matter how hard they are. I couldn't even imagine being in Star's or Eclipse's shoes. What do you do when someone hates you and your entire family for something that's out of your control? How long can you try to reason with them before you realize they're too dangerous for their own good? They can't live anymore. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. Killing aside, dealing with someone who hates you and your family for something that's out of your control definitely can hit home and resonate with a lot of people. It's something a lot of people will face in life. You'll be despised from where you came from or who you associate with, even if they're good people, if you're good people. I think I've gone on for long enough. If you haven't seen this episode, watch the entire series just so you can watch it, because Conquer deserves this number 2 spot.
I am the queen, and these are my people. I have to stay and fight.
Finally, at number 1, we have Come Along With Me. Adventure Time is an animation classic. It inspired a whole new generation of cartoons. It truly was amazing. And a show as incredible and influential as Adventure Time deserves a big bang finale. Thank goodness Cartoon Network gave it that. Come Along With Me is a beautiful conclusion to everything Adventure Time was. It brought back old characters, it concluded storylines, we finally get closure for the Ice King, for the Bubblegum Gumball conflict that had been building up. It is a finale about change and dealing with things moving on, and how to cope with the inevitable. Things won't be the same forever, but there's always adventures to be had. It's finite, but at the same time, it's open-ended. It's ambitious, and although it's not perfect by any means, it's perfect for Adventure Time. If you don't cry at the end of this, I don't know what's wrong with you, because I was tearing up. The whole episode closes on a beautiful rendition of the Come Along With Me song that always plays in the end credits of Adventure Time. Its emotions I can't really put into words. You kind of had to have been there for the whole ride, but if you have, this finale is the perfect ending.
You feel ready? And there you have it, folks. The top 10 best animated episodes of 2018. Do you agree with our list? Do you not? Do you hate us? I'm sorry if you hate us. We're trying our best. Remember, this is just our opinion. And we want to hear your opinion in the comments below. Or you can tweet your opinions to us at OstricBox, it's Retro Nemo, TommyPQM, and at the Roundtable at Roundtable Vids. We're also on Instagram, so that's both Twitter and Instagram. If you want to help the Roundtable grow, you can either become a member of the channel or check us out on Patreon. Link to that will be in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please sort of like, share, and if you're new here, subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications, stay in the loop with all things animation. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait for more animation goodness in 2019. Ostrich Fox, out.